She was a woman history almost forgot, a widow, then a widow again, no husband, no child, no protection. In her world, that meant no future. Tamar lived in a society where a woman's survival was tied to family, to lineage, and to promises made by men in power. Her husband had died, then his brother, and the man responsible for securing her future, her father-in-law. Judah had promised her hope and quietly taken it away. Tamar could have disappeared into silence. Many women did, but she didn't. What she did instead would shock her culture, expose hypocrisy, and quietly secure a place in history that would one day reach all the way to the birth of Jesus himself. This is not a story of scandal for scandal's sake. It is a story of courage under injustice, wisdom in a broken system, and faith that refuses to let God's promises die. This is the story of Judah and Tamar. The story begins not with Tamar, but with Judah. Judah was one of the 12 sons of Jacob, respected, influential, and deeply involved in the family decisions that shaped Israel's future. After the betrayal of Joseph, after the blood-stained coat and their father's grief, Judah made a quiet but important choice. He left. Scripture doesn't explain his emotions. It doesn't tell us whether he felt guilt or regret. It simply tells us that Judah separated himself from his brothers and went down to a place called Adullam. Adullam was different. It was shaped by Canaanite culture, beliefs, and customs far removed from the covenant identity passed down through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. There, Judah formed new friendships. He bonded with a man named Hira, a Canaanite, and soon after, Judah married a local woman, the daughter of a man named Shua. The Bible doesn't record her name. That silence itself is telling. Earlier generations had taken great care to avoid marriages that would pull them away from the promise God had given their family. Judah did not. He settled in the land, raised a family there, and slowly blended into the culture around him. While Judah settled into his new life in Adullam, elsewhere in the land a young woman named Tamar was growing into adulthood. Tamar lived with an understanding shaped by her world. She knew that family meant survival. She knew that legacy mattered, and she understood that a woman's future, for better or worse, was tied to the household she married into. When Judah's firstborn son, came of age, Judah sought a wife for him. He chose Tamar. For Tamar, this marriage carried hope. She entered Judah's household expecting to build a family, to bear children, and to take her place within a lineage that traced back to Abraham himself. But what awaited her was not stability. It was tragedy. Scripture gives us very little detail about Judah's firstborn. We are not told what he did or how he lived. The Bible simply says that he was wicked in the sight of the Lord. And then, just as simply, it tells us that the Lord put him to death. Suddenly, Tamar was a widow. In that culture, widowhood without children was more than grief. It was danger. A woman without a husband or son had no secure place, no inheritance, and little protection. Her future depended entirely on the faithfulness of her husband's family. God had already established a principle meant to protect women like Tamar. When a man died without leaving a child, his brother was expected to marry the widow and raise up offspring in the deceased brother's name. This was not about romance. It was about justice. It ensured that a woman would not be discarded and that a family line would not disappear. Judah knew this responsibility, and so he instructed his second son, Onan, to take Tamar as his wife and fulfill his duty as a brother-in-law. Onan understood exactly what was being asked of him. Any child born from this union would not be considered his. The child would carry his brother's name. The inheritance would belong to that child, not to Onan. And Onan did not want that. Outwardly, he agreed to the arrangement, but inwardly, he made a different decision. He was willing to take Tamar into his bed, but not to secure her future. Scripture does not soften what happened. It tells us that whenever Onan slept with Tamar, he deliberately prevented her from conceiving. This was not ignorance, comma. This was not accident. It was a calculated act of selfishness. Onan took what benefited him while denying Tamar the protection, honor, and future the law was meant to give her. And once again, the Lord intervened. Onan's actions were evil in God's sight, and like his brother before him, he died. Tamar was now a widow for the second time, still childless, still waiting. 2 sons of Judah were gone, both after marrying her. Fear and suspicion began to grow within the household. Tamar became a silent question no one wanted to answer, and Judah was left with one remaining son, Shelah. According to custom, Shelah should have been given to Tamar when he came of age, but Judah hesitated. Fear had taken root, Judah told Tamar to return to her father's house and live as a widow until Shelah was grown. It sounded like care. It sounded like patience, but it was not the truth. Judah had no intention of keeping that promise. Tamar obeyed. She returned to her father's household and waited. Days turned into years. Shelah grew up, and still no message came. Tamar was trapped. She could not remarry because she was still bound by Judah's promise. Yet the promise itself was never fulfilled. She had been set aside, forgotten, and quietly denied the future she was owed. And it was in that long silence that Tamar made a decision, one that would change everything. Time passed, and the boy Shelah grew into a man. The years Tamar spent waiting quietly in her father's house stretched on without resolution. The promise Judah had made remained unfulfilled. No message came. No summons arrived. Tamar's widowhood became permanent, not by law, but by neglect. Judah had allowed fear to rule his judgment. 2 sons had died, and he convinced himself that Tamar was the cause. Rather than confront his own failure, he chose delay, and delay became denial. Tamar waited faithfully until waiting revealed the truth. She was not being protected. She was being erased. After a long time, Judah's wife, the daughter of Shua, died. Judah mourned her, and when the days of mourning were completed, life resumed. Along with his friend Hira the Adullamite, Judah went up to Timnah to oversee the shearing of his sheep. Sheep shearing season was not merely business. It was a time of feasting, travel, and celebration. Word traveled quickly, and news reached Tamar. Your father-in-law is going up to Timnah. Tamar understood what this meant. Judah was moving freely again. Life was continuing for him, but she remained trapped in a promise never meant to be kept. Shelah was grown. The excuse was gone. Justice had been withheld. Tamar saw clearly now. The system meant to protect her had failed. The man responsible for her future had abandoned his duty. If justice would not come through waiting, it would require courage. So Tamar made a decision that would change everything. She removed her widow's garments, the clothing that marked her as forgotten and powerless. She covered herself with a veil and positioned herself at the entrance to Anem, along the road to Timnah. It was a place Judah would have to pass. Scripture is precise about her motive. She did this because Shelah had grown up, and she had not been given to him as a wife. This was not desperation. This was discernment. According to custom, if the next of kin failed in his duty, the responsibility fell to the closest male in the family line. Tamar was not stepping outside the law. She was forcing it to confront its own hypocrisy. When Judah saw her, he did not recognize her. Veiled and alone, he assumed she was a shrine prostitute, something tragically common in the surrounding culture. Driven by grief, desire, and a moment of moral blindness, Judah approached her. "Come," he said, "let me sleep with you." Tamar answered calmly and carefully, "What will you give me?" Judah promised a young goat from his flock, but Tamar knew a promise alone meant nothing. She demanded a pledge: your seal and its cord and the staff in your hand. These were not random items. The seal was Judah's signature. The cord carried it. The staff symbolized authority and identity. Together they represented who Judah was. Judah agreed. They slept together, and Tamar conceived. Then, without delay, Tamar left. She removed the veil. She put her widow's garments back on, and she returned to her father's house, unseen and silent, carrying within her the proof of Judah's failure. Judah sent the young goat through his friend Hira to retrieve his pledge, but the woman could not be found. "There has been no shrine prostitute here," the men said. Hira returned empty-handed. Judah, embarrassed, chose silence over truth. "Let her keep what she has," he said. "We will become a laughingstock." Judah was more concerned with his reputation than with righteousness. He moved on. 3 months passed. Tamar's pregnancy could no longer be hidden. Word reached Judah. "Tamar, your daughter-in-law has been immoral. She is pregnant." Judah did not ask questions. He did not seek understanding. He pronounced judgment. "Bring her out and have her burned." The irony was unbearable. The man who had failed her, used her, and abandoned her was now ready to execute her. As Tamar was brought forward, she did not shout. She did not accuse. She sent a message: "I am pregnant by the man who owns these." Then she added softly, "Examine them. See whose they are: the seal, the cord, the staff." Judah recognized them instantly. The crowd fell silent. Judah stood exposed not by accusation but by evidence. And then he spoke words that would echo through Scripture. "She is more righteous than I, since I did not give her to my son Shelah." Judah acknowledged his failure. Tamar was spared. Justice delayed, but not denied, finally came. And Judah never slept with her again. When the time came, Tamar gave birth to twins. One reached out his hand first, and a scarlet thread was tied around his wrist. But he withdrew, and the other was born before him. "What a breakthrough," the midwife said. And so he was named Perez. From Tamar's courage came a lineage that would lead to King David and ultimately to Christ. These stories take time and care to create. If you'd like to support the channel, subscribing is the simplest way to do that. Comment below and tell us what story you want to hear next.